Real football might be over, but the offseason, much like the city of New York, never sleeps. We got coaching changes, real football might be over, but the offseason, much like the city of New York, never sleeps. We got coaching changes, free agency, the combine, the draft, and tons more action to cover to get ready for the next NFL season. Who's going to be the next rising star? What new coach is going to have the greatest impact? What free agent is going to take your team from pretender to contender? Let us be the voice of the NFL news. As Coach Mike Dubb, the real AG Alex Givens, young RG Robert Garcia, and yours truly, Coach Defense, break down everything from the NFL offseason right here on the NFL Offseason Blitz. Let's go.
Say something!
Hello? What up?
All good? Coach?
You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Oh, we lost Coach.
We lost Coach.
Yeah.
So he'll be back. Maybe he couldn't see us.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah.
We got him back?
He's back. Oh, we can't hear you, though.
Yeah.
I don't
Preseason,
know.
full swing.
Yeah, right? Good way to cap it off here.
Yeah,
Technical
yeah.
difficulties.
It's preseason for us too, you know. Get ready. Get ready.
We had one more week.
Yep.
We can't crap real quick. Stop being real quick.
Is Cap frozen too?
Oh, no.
Cap's frozen a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah.
Who, me? Me?
Oh,
It was just a tad.
I don't think I'm frozen.
I think
no,
you're
yeah,
good
you're
now.
good now.
I don't know what's going on with Coach, but we should probably not have some dead air time. So,
Yeah.
hello, everybody out there. Welcome to the Lockdown Defense Sports Network. As you guys just saw, we had some technical difficulties. I'm not Coach Defense. I'm your boy, the real AG. We got a little bit discombobulation here on orientation. Up with me at the top, we got young RG, the degenerate gambler himself.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I'm picking. Oh, great. Let me fire this off real quick. Bing, bing, bam. All right. Down below, we got Coach Mike Dubb in the house, Commanders Insider, and yours truly. Below me here, we have notorious Captain Jack Rackham, the salty pirate himself, joining us to discuss the off-season blitz and the preseason.
Can I have one bit right away? Can I have one
Yeah.
bit right away?
Yeah.
It's not on my channel, man. What is up with that? It's
Hey.
not on my channel. So I'm going to talk to Coach Technical Difficulty when he gets back to find
Yes.
out why it's not on my channel. I'm just saying.
TD is going to have a whole new meaning to it this year.
You gotta be kidding me. You're joking.
No, that's a lie.
What?
Get out of here.
Really, Mike? Come on now.
Get
I think-
out of here.
That's the same dude that was posting crap the last time I was on.
I don't know. We will need to confirm that.
Unbelievable.
But
Unbelievable.
yeah.
Wow. Okay. Breaking news.
Breaking news, right? Someone confirm that really quick.
No,
Let's
that's
see.
a lie. Get out of here. No shot.
Someone
that's-
needs to confirm this ASAP, dude.
I am not
Let's see what
seeing
we got here. Let's see what we got here.
anything.
I can neither confirm nor deny that because I don't have the time to look at unlike other people who look at stuff for their ongoing
He
fantasy
remembers me.
draft. Fantasy draft.
Yeah, I think he was trolling us hard, bro. There's no way.
Yeah.
What would Tennessee even give up, dude?
There's nothing they could give up. They have
Exactly,
nothing.
dude.
They have nothing of value that even comes close to a Micah Parsons.
You know what's funny? I keep seeing Packers. As I'm searching, I've seen Packers like a few times.
Apparently, they have a deal on the table that includes multiple first-round picks and a $45 million per year extension.
The
Cowboys, Green Bay does.
That's a couple days old, man. I heard that like a couple days ago.
I mean,
that's all we got so far in terms of any sort of rumblings about him going to another team. Because as far as we're seeing, he is just like Jerry has no.
There you go. Yeah, we did at least confirm.
There you go.
Philly Mike was absolutely Philly trolling us right there.
And by the way, remember when you say his coach's name is Jura says Jura said gonna have to be at least 3 first rounders, and a couple trips to, I want to say, that place down in South Florida that my friend from the Patriots likes to frequent. I'm just saying, Jura has high standards for who he's going to give up and what I'm going to give up. Jura says that.
Yeah. Sure. Have you guys watched that? Started to watch that thing on There's a Netflix.
No,
I haven't either, but
no.
I don't think I want to check it out because like he's Jura, just too full of himself. But
Jerry is doing everything and anything he can this offseason to take attention away from the fact that he is going to screw over Micah Parsons as hard as possible.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they already offer him
how long ago?
Money, and he said it's about principle now or something?
No, they offered him a deal to make him the highest paid non-quarterback in all of football months ago, and Jerry is still trying to use that after all of these extensions have been signed, and it's just that's not the way it works. The price drives up the more and more other players get signed.
Yeah,
as coach makes a return.
Hey,
boom, bam.
Hey, coach, technical difficulties. Why am I not broadcasting on my YouTube channel? There you go. Stick that in your sock and smoke it.
That was the problem. For some reason, I got fouled up with the server, and it kicked me out. I had to restart my whole machine.
You EMP blasted us with your channel, Cap.
It really did.
Okay.
Really did.
I get it. So it's my fault. It's my fault.
No,
we gotta blame somebody. Gotta blame
somebody.
the
Raider fan.
That's not what we're saying.
Hey, Garza, you're not that far away. You're only a couple squares over. Okay, you're only a couple squares over in this Hollywood Squares type format. Okay, just get it right now.
Indeed. All right. So after the technical difficulties, let's get this show rolling. I heard a couple of banter comments in regards to what was going on. This is our season finale of the offseason blitz with the hit squad. We're going to go over our preseason recap and things that have been buzzing and rolling since we've been on the air last. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some coaches on the hot seat. We're going to talk about our preseason recap. We got some hot takes for you as well, and talking about what we think is going to happen in the 2025 season, man. So let's start off with the preseason itself. Let's get into what the preseason has unfolded for each of our particular purviews. So let's talk about the preseason. What was your hottest takes? What was your takeaways from the preseason? What did you glean from it? What did it mean to you? Did you see anything that was different that you didn't expect? So we'll go around the room real quick and we'll talk about the preseason and this and how we felt about it. And give us your overall synopsis about what we feel like is going to translate into the NFL in 2025. Let's start with Coach Mike Dubb. So, Coach Mike Dubb, what did you see in the preseason that you are pleasantly surprised, disappointed? Give me your overall takes on what the preseason was for you, and how do you feel about the preseason going into the new season?
So, I actually have a pretty positive, observation that I noticed in the past few years. I'm always holding my breath to see how many guys we're going to see go down with season-ending injuries, or which teams are going to be starting without their starting quarterback. I think this was a fairly good preseason training camp as far as injury goes. Sorry for the Chargers fans. You know, aside from Slater going down and a few one-offs, of course you're going to have your a few guys go down. We had some scares earlier on in camp, guys getting carted off. You saw the Justin Fields situation. I think there was another guy that got carted off out of precaution. I want to say Isaiah Likely or somebody like that out of precaution. And every year you hold your breath because it's like, I don't know why, but it seems like for a long stretch of time, it was just multiple guys going down with ACLs. Of course, Achilles has been, a big thing recently. But I think that we got through this preseason so far, fingers crossed. Hopefully we go into week 1 and we're able to get out of that healthy too, as far as everybody's concerned. But I don't think we saw a lot of injuries that will alter teams' perspectives as far as, where they're going to go, this season. So thankfully, like I said, we're not going to be missing too many starting quarterbacks, too many, guys, wide receivers, DBs, anybody like that really went down compared to other years. My thing as a coach, I always want to get out the preseason healthy. Let's get into the regular season. Let's get things going. We saw some good things for some rookies, but, I think overall the thing that made me, I guess you could say, more satisfied with this preseason is that we saw less major injuries than we've seen in years past, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Young RG, what's going on, good brother? How you feeling out there, man? Tell me about the preseason. What did you glean from it, and what was your overall takes?
Yeah, feeling good. Obviously, Coach Mike Dub had to put me down, put us Charger fans down to start the show. Had to dig the wound just a little bit deeper, reminding us.
Go get him, Coach.
But no, yeah, I honestly have pretty much the same exact take that Coach Mike had. This is probably the first season in a long time where the majority of the star talent is still available and healthy for the most part. A couple of guys are starting the year on the PUP list, of course. We just had our, final trim downs to 53 mans today. Final cuts did get made. So yeah, it's just good to see that a lot of guys, made it out unscathed. I think that bodes well for the year. We obviously always talk about, if we could wish upon it, we would wish no injuries across the league, because then there's no excuse making. It's basically the best possible matchups of each team going up against each other. And I think that's probably as close as we're going to get to it this season. Obviously the season will start and injuries will begin. That's just the way it goes. It would be amazing if we could watch an entire year and not a single career or a season ending injury occurred. But it's the way the nature of the game. It's a violent game. It's a tough physical game. But I think as fans, we could all kind of collectively agree this preseason, that's all we wanted to see. The offenses are vanilla. You're not going to see much in terms of flashiness or creativity on really either side of the ball. So the biggest thing you can just hope for is your young guys to make flashy plays, make plays that, give them or earn themselves roster spots and ultimately come out unscathed.
Indeed. Okay. All right, Captain Jack, what was your takes on the preseason? What did you feel like this stuck out to you most in regards to what happened in 2025's season before the season?
All right, in the immortal words of my boy Al Pacino, we're just getting started, okay? Because I don't know if I guess y'all kind of missed the time that the fact that the Raiders basically started out training camp with a major injury. Safety Lonnie Johnson was at the very beginning of the series of training camp, and he's going to be probably one of those guys who gets put on short-term IR. And then, I don't know, maybe having a backup quarterback go into the last game and get injured, that throw everything into tumult. That's TUMULT for people that are ignorant. I'm going to throw that one out. Okay. The fact is that the Raiders had to spend some time figuring out who of the best of the bottom of the barrel, almost, quarterbacks that were available on other people's rosters they were going to try to go for. And he ended up going with Kenny Small Hands Pickett.
Small hands.
I'm just saying Kenny Pickett is a first-round pick that just didn't quite make it with the Steelers. And one of the reasons why is because he has small hands, and that is a definitive fact. And it didn't work in Pittsburgh in the cold. It didn't work in Philly in the cold. And then he went to Cleveland, which is cold. But I guess it works in Vegas, where most of your time you're going to be indoors. Okay.
There you go.
It's not bad. And the Raiders ended up giving a 5th round pick to the Browns, who likes to give stupid picks away anyway. We won't talk about that one dating back to the draft. But actually, it's kind of like a freebie, because the Raiders are going to be picking up a 5th round compensatory pick for Hobbs. So it's basically they're trading a free pick to get Kenny Pickett. They needed him on this team because they needed somebody just in case Geno Smith goes down. Now, my view of the preseason, as far as the Raiders are concerned, is if you watch the games from when the first team offense and the first team defense is in, I have a really good feeling for the fact that this Raiders offense is really decent. You know, Geno Smith with the running game with Genty and the run blockers that they have for it. Dante Thornton getting all that time with Smith, going back shoulder pass that they've been trying to do all preseason long, either quite overthrows or McNoodle arm AOC 12 underthrowing him for an interception. But they finally got that long pass or over the back shoulder pass to Thornton squared away in the last preseason game. I like that. But then you also have this wonderful thing in the mix. Oh, Jacoby Myers is upset. He wants a new contract, and we're not going to give him a new contract, so he wants to be traded. Well, guess what? Really, nobody wanted Jacoby Myers because there was only one offer, and it was one of those, we'll give you a bag of peanuts and some chip dip for Jacoby Myers, and the Raiders weren't taken. So he's going to sit his happy ass on the field and be the number 2 receiver that he is. And then we went up, and by the way, to shut him up, we went up and picked up Amari Cooper. I'm okay with that. The Raiders are a decent team, provided that they don't get injured, because once you get past the first string, that's where things get dicey. And I really was not liking what I saw out of the 2s and the 3s this year. So, and I did a final check when I saw what the Raiders did for getting rid of people. I only counted 51, maybe 52 of the names when you come down to it. So I think the Raiders are going to pick somebody else up. And that's even after they put Johnson and AOC 12 on that list, a quick IR list. They're probably going to pick up 2 of those people, maybe from the guys they just cut. So we'll see that. Just saying, I'm kind of wishy-washy. I feel decent, but then I'm not really feeling good about what's going on. We'll see. If the Raiders stay healthy, I see good things.
Okay. All right. The real AG Alex Givens, what's going on, good brother? And how do you feel about the preseason?
What's good? Glad we got all the technical difficulties worked out and we're smoothly off the ground now. But yeah, just from a Chiefs perspective, I thought it was a good preseason. Good to see. I mean, they didn't really play their starters too much, but at least in the last game, it was good to see them, score on their 3 possessions with the ones. You didn't see Mahomes get touched in his revamped O-line. Josh Simmons and some of these young guys that they're going to be counting on have been as advertised. So that's all good from a Chiefs perspective. League-wide, I'd echo what Mike Dub said, and that it seemed to be a pretty relatively healthy preseason overall. I thought it was, pretty much the big-name rookie QBs seemed to be kind of as advertised had a pretty good preseason, especially Jackson Dart. I mean, if there's a preseason MVP, I think he won it.
Yeah.
It definitely gave some optimism for Giants fans. And, Cam Ward, I thought looked good and when he played. So a lot of these, big time rookies that had a lot of pre-draft hype and then hype after they got picked seemed to be somewhat, standing on business a little bit with what they did in the preseason. So I'm excited to see, how the regular season starts and how these teams use, like Travion Henderson and Ibuka and some of these other guys that, really progressed through the preseason, I thought.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, for me, I share a lot of y'all sentiments, but I think that what stood out to me as well is the idea that a lot of teams well, let me just say this. Let's get this out the way. I'm going to start here. What did Cam Ward have some type of clause in his contract where he was going to be the most least talked about number one pick in the history of the NFL? Because like literally nobody's talking about this kid, but all he does is come to work every day, lunch pail, first in, last out. The team that he has constructed, they built around him sneakily is actually pretty good. If the defense can show up a little bit, for him in certain areas, certain spaces, get after the quarterback and things of that nature, this could be a sneakily good team. So again, nobody's talking about them. Nobody's, mentioning the fact that they're, on the uptick in a sense. They're trying to bounce back from the AJ Brown days of trading him away and recovering from that. It took them 5 years. It took them 5 years to recover from that, but they're finally on the mend. And they're on the rise, and I share AG sentiments in the fact that Cam Ward has looked good when he was out there, looked good in practice. I mean, all things are trending up for this kid, as well as Jackson Dart. So I guess the 2 first-round picks, in regard to quarterbacks, look like they're the real deal. Everybody else is, a bit of a question mark, and we're not going to talk about what's going on in Cleveland. I mean, it's just, it's if you look up dumpster fire in the dictionary, the Brown Stadium will be front and center. So yeah. So there's that.
It's crazy too that like Cam Ward going into the draft was just compared to Shador, right? Like it was like which one's gonna be number one, and they had the like total opposite experiences.
Complete
opposite. Complete opposite.
You had to know that the GMs were looking at those rankings, and they're just laughing because they're like, "There's no way in hell these people think we have Shador anywhere near a first-round grade, let alone top 3 pick."
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane what's going on, and Quishon Judkins still not signed. Again, we could probably do a whole segment on how bad the Browns are as a mismanaged organization. Man. But yeah,
they made a good trade though.
Well, we could trade Pickett away.
Yeah, well, trading for that, trading away the Travis Hunter pick to Jacksonville and getting Jacksonville's first-round pick.
True. So
that is the only good move they made in the offseason.
Right, exactly. That part. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen in Cleveland, and similarly the idea of playing Bengals starters in a large space, trying to get out to a quick start in the preseason. Luckily they didn't, to y'all sentiment, they didn't experience any injuries to any major guys or anything like that. So that was a blessing in disguise for them. I could talk all day about the Chargers and what they're going through in their flux, but we won't cry over spilled milk. Rashawn Slater still is. I got that Wolverine meme where he got the picture. I can't. I'm just thinking about what it could have been with Rashawn Slater, right? So that's me right now. But outside of that, man, I'm doing okay. But yeah, preseason was definitely interesting, man. I can't wait to see what these guys. I have some sneaky. We're gonna talk about hot takes. I got some sneaky ideas about how these rookies might pan out too. It's going to be interesting to see with especially the first 2 rounds of the draft, how they pan out early on in their team. So it should be a good time. Definitely be a good time. So let's move on. Let's talk about another topic in the large space that's been drumming up news. Jerry Jones and Micah Parsons.
Jura.
Jerry and Micah Parsons have had the media in a tizzy. As they say in modern times, they had us all in the chokehold in regards to how this is going to play out. Clearly in Jerry Jones fashion, he's got to be the last and most polarizing person to get anything done. Because we saw Terry McLaurin get signed yesterday. We saw Trey Henderson get signed yesterday. And then poor Michael Parsons is still without a contract. So
arguably the most deserving.
Absolutely.
Still waiting.
Absolutely. The most deserving.
For sure the most deserving.
Yeah, arguably, yeah, for sure the most deserving.
Right. So I'm gonna throw the conversation over to Coach Mike Dubb and I segment called Deal or No Deal. Do we think this ends in a deal or no deal when it comes to Jerry Jones and Michael Parsons?
This ends in a deal. This ends in a deal. We've seen it time and time again. Every year there's back and forth. There's we're here, we have an agreement, agent gets involved, all kinds of stuff. And then eventually, whether it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever the case is, we see guys end up signing and getting the deal done. Listen, I mean, it's a business. Of course, we know that on all sides, but it's also a business as far as marketing. And Jerry Jones knows that he's going to lose out on a lot of fans if he lets, his most popular player aside from his quarterback walk. He's going to lose out on a big, deal of supporters and people that are going to be in his corner. And then especially, when we're talking about trading, that's just not going to happen. There's what Jerry will be asking for and who he will be willing to deal with. You can count out anybody in the NFC. So for everybody saying Dan Quinn and all, that's not happening. So the Packers, we've heard them mentioning, I don't see it happening in the NFC. If he's sending them somewhere, it's going to be somewhere to Siberia, like Indianapolis or Tennessee, who just don't have enough to offer. So there's not going to be any type of trade that's happening. A deal will eventually be made. I think perhaps Jerry may go back to his days with Emmett and try to flip the tables, where Emmett had all the leverage because the Cowboys started out 0-2. I think Jerry might try to start the season out. Let's see if we get some leverage by starting out 2-0. Let's see if we get some leverage by doing well without him. And maybe we'll end up on the cards on our table. Whatever the case is, overall, whether it's next week, in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever the case is, Michael Parsons will play this season for Dallas. I think it's all smoke and mirrors. No trade will happen. A deal will get done eventually. And I actually don't think that part of it is them being Dallas. It's going to get blown up. It's going to get, put on Front Street. I don't think that it's as far apart as we would like to believe. I think that they're probably, not saying that they're close to making a deal, but, the way people will make it believe is that the bridges are burned. It's no rehashing. He's out the door, all that stuff like that. I don't think that's the case at all. I'm not buying it. I think Micah ends up in Dallas. Like I said, I don't know when, but I think he's going to play the season in Dallas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Captain Jack, your favorite guy, Jerry.
Jura.
How you feel about him and Michael Parsons in that kind of situation?
Well, let me kind of pontificate for the fact that the Dallas is under my purview as Jerry Jones, the great Jerry Jones, the Al Davis wannabe of the NFL, who will never ever be the Al Davis that he was.
Okay.
But let me ask a question as Captain Jack. Now, maybe I'm missing something, but isn't Micah Parsons under contract this year with the Cowboys? He has one more year to play on this contract, and then he can walk.
No.
Now,
he can't walk. No, he can't.
What I'm saying is, isn't he under contract this year for the Dallas Cowboys?
His fifth-year option, yes.
Okay, so there you go. I say that he will come in and eventually play for the Cowboys because he's not going to want to lose that year, because again, if he hangs out a year, he's still under contract for the Cowboys for a year. He still owes them a year. I think he will come in, he will play the year. But if I am Micah Parsons, the best way that I know how to screw over Jura is to play my year, play the best year possible, and providing that there is a proviso where he cannot be franchise tagged. That's the only thing that I don't know is how that contract was written. If he can get away with playing this year without being franchise tagged, I'd play the year and then walk so that in 2026, I'm playing for whoever the hell I want to and be the most significant defensive player there is. But that is only if it's somewhere in the contract that he can't be franchise tagged. I don't know.
It's a rookie deal. It's a standard rookie deal with a first-round grade on it, which has a fifth-round option. So he has no say-so on whether or not he can or cannot be franchise tagged because it's not a extending contract. It's a rookie deal. So it's standard rookie deal that says that you get a fifth-year option. That's his last year of his deal he's on right now, which ironically is $24 million fully guaranteed. So whether he plays or not, he gets his money. So so right then and there, he doesn't have to necessarily play. And what he doesn't want to do is play on his fifth-year option, get hurt, and that creates his leverage in order to get paid going forward. I think he put enough on tape and put enough on his resume as his first 4 years to say that I command top dollar and should be the highest paid defensive player in the league at this moment. So that particular idea is where he's standing on the idea that he don't want to play or get injured until he gets his extension done.
Okay, well then, having said that, Coach, and I appreciate you clearing that up for me. If he gets
Mhm.
$24 million guaranteed, whether he plays or not, if he's guaranteed $24 million, I'm taking a nice year off, going to Tahiti, Bali, Indonesia. Maybe I don't know if he's married or not, but I'd go to the Philippines and Thailand and maybe spend some time in some red light districts and other places around the world. I would have all of those things. But get out of the strip clubs in Dallas. Get your horizons more. Get your horizons beyond. There's plenty of good looking things, Asian and American and Australian and Latinas. Go and have fun, sir, with the $24 million. Okay, don't play for Jerry. If you're going to get paid, don't play, and then just put it to the point where I would put the screws to him, get the money, and then when Jerry figures out that he can't sign him, then he will be dealt. I think that if that is the thing, again, he thinks that it's going to be like another Emmitt Smith type deal. I think that he actually commands more than Emmitt Smith, because Emmitt was on, I don't want to say he was on the way side, but Micah is just ascending the hill. He hasn't even hit the top of that hill yet. He's still got some climbing to do. He will be that guy. Emmitt had shown, and he was on the other side of that hill, and he was trying to do this stuff. If I'm Micah Parsons, I'm going to Bali. I'm going to Indonesia. I'm going to Phuket. I'm going to Amsterdam. I'm going to Rio de Janeiro. I'm going to all of these different places, having a wonderful time. And if he's married, then okay, bring the wife with you. But I'm just saying, have a good time, Micah, and have that money spent for you. But you can command it, because somebody will want you. And eventually, like I said, the Packers are saying, I'll give you 3 1s. I know that Jerry would not like to have him dealt within the NFC, but I think that he would probably rather have him dealt in away from a non-divisional guy. And Green Bay is offering 3 1s. I think eventually it might be taken. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I've been once, actually I once thought I was wrong, but I was mistaken. But that's my point.
Okay.
I will aside to that, sir. That's what I'm going to say.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Young RG, you had anything to add to this conversation in regards to what do you think is going to happen with Michael Parsons?
Yeah, I mean, I'll play devil's advocate here. Why not? I'll say no deal. I'll say these bridges are burned between Micah and upper management, ownership, GM, Jerry, whatever you want to call it. Jerry has been saying some, I'll just put it bluntly, some insane stuff this offseason that I think is getting overshadowed and overlooked by media. He has quite literally come out and said, what is the point in paying players? They basically can get hurt at any time. So why should I guarantee all this money for these players? He basically just flipped off his entire locker room with that. And I feel like Micah, not even for, I don't want to say for pride, but almost for just dignity, he can't sign with that organization that has just outright disrespected him at every turn. This man, from anybody of that draft class, pick your draft pick. This guy deserves his money more than anybody else, even Rashawn Slater included. And we're still dragging this out, and we're about to start the regular season in about just over a week away. Now, Jerry could ultimately sign him and give him the biggest deal, and 100%, I 100% agree with Edward that the entire organization, it's not just the locker room, the entire organization is a circus, and Jerry has been running it as such. And for what it's worth, they, like a circus, they've been bringing in revenue, they've been making money, but it's been through no shortage of, exotic exhibits and things that you've quite never seen before, but they don't make sense, but you can't help but look like it's just all coming down. And you know what? The easy answer is yes, Jerry's going to sign him and everything will be happy and nothing will change and we'll go about the season like this never happened. But I'll play devil's advocate here. I think Parsons holds his ground, says, nope, screw you, trade me. I'm never playing another game for you ever again. You can franchise tag me. We all know this team is going nowhere unless I'm on the field. So I call your bluff, Jerry.
This team ain't going anywhere even if he's on the field.
Well, very good point. But the defense is him. You know, like if the defense is going to be doing anything at all, it has to. There is a ton of avenues into which this defense can succeed this season. Every single one of them includes Micah Parsons being a part of that defense. Even if he's not there.
Yeah. So this is a good question. So who's in the worst situation? Because it's very similar to the Trey Hendricks situation. If he's not there, they're really the creek without a paddle. So who's in the worst situation? The Cowboys with no Micah or the Bengals with no Trey?
I think the Cowboys.
Yeah, because they don't have T and Chase.
So yeah.
Because
at least the Bengals got an offense. Like they could outscore people.
Right.
I mean, if you don't have a pass rush, on top of probably an injured offense at some point in the year, it's going to be pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, at least you can count on Burrow and the Bengals for putting up points. We don't know what Hammer and the group are going to do on offense in Dallas at all. We don't know at all.
Well, that's why the Bengals overspent on Burrow and those receivers, okay? Because they're going to put up points. They might not be able to run, but they'll be able to throw it down. All you need is X amount of time and throw it to whoever's open down there. You got Higgins, you got the other kid out of LSU, and you got a decent tight end and whatnot. They're going to get open eventually. I'm talking about for throwing. If the running back escapes, they got outlets. Just a matter of they might not be able to be as productive on the run game, but they're going to be able to throw with Burrow. Now, if Burrow gets hurt, then all bets are off. Part of the door. That's
yeah. Way the white flag on that one. If that's the case, that's for sure. AG, you got anything to add to this before we move on?
I mean, not really. It's all kind of already been said, but I do think that ultimately a deal will get done. I think it'll get done in typical Jerry fashion, like 11th hour right before
kickoff.
Wednesday night kickoff.
But other than that, no. I mean, I don't think there's much else to add to it.
Okay, good deal. Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, I don't think that although Micah should and needs to be paid. Again, I'm not sure it's going to move the needle for the overall future. So I think maybe Jerry's looking at it from that perspective. But who knows? I'm not sure exactly what Jerry's brain is thinking on any given day. So we'll see how things move. But Micah, yes, don't move until you get paid. That's my recommendation. All right. So moving on down the line, speaking of organization and coaches, let's talk about people on the hot seat going into 2025. So there is some coaches on proverbial hot seat that are under fire in 2025 that if things don't go well, we could argue between Thanksgiving and the end of the season that unfaithful Monday after the regular season ends, they might be in the unemployment line. So we got a few teams on the list. We got the Bengals, the Colts, the Giants, and what's the last team I'm missing?
Dolphins.
The Dolphins. Yes. The Dolphins. In regards to teams that are at a crossroads, in the sense where again, if they don't do things the right way or they don't have a successful season, we could be looking at a new coaching regime in house in those particular organizations. So let's start off with those Colts and them choosing Daniel Jones as their quarterback number one. That's problem one for me.
Ballsy.
Yeah. So let's
start strategy, Colin. Let's see if it pays off.
Right.
Great segue. Yes. So yes, let's talk about the Colts. We'll just toss it up and then we'll just discuss it in regards to what they're going to do. But I don't have high hopes personally. I don't have high hopes personally at all. I don't know what's going on in Indy. I know they lost their owner and things of that nature, but who's going to take the Colts first and talk about them and whether or not they will make it through the season, or what's it going to take for the coach to keep their job?
Yeah. Honestly, I think that they start. I think I said this in one of our chats, but for me, I mean, when they signed Daniel Jones, the conundrum they had with Richardson, it's easier for them to start Daniel Jones and bench him than to start the season with Richardson and bench him for Jones. Because the minute you do that, he's done. Like, you got to move on. So, I mean, I see why they did that from that perspective, and hopefully that they can continue to develop Richardson. Because, I mean, the tangibles are there. It's just, can Steichen be the guy to get it done with him? And ultimately, I think this is kind of their last ditch effort to save, who they invested in a QB, who they invested in a head coach, and see if they can get it done or, revitalize the offense. And, I just don't think that's going to happen in Indy. I think we're going to just see a dumpster fire of, 3-4 weeks of Daniel Jones, maybe a few splashy plays with him running, not passing. And then, they'll switch to Richardson, and it'll be a lot of the same that we've already seen with him. And then, boom, next thing you know, Steichen's out, and Irsay's daughters are resetting the whole thing. So, yeah, that's
I
my
want to see
assessment.
Daniel Jones, a highlight reel run where he's chugging and he gets caught from behind on the 5-yard line.
He trips himself.
He doesn't get caught. He doesn't get caught from behind. He catches himself.
Right. The turf monster got him.
It's going to be better this time. At least this time he's going to be caught by somebody instead of tripping himself up.
Daniel Jones, athletic enough to break an 80-yard run, unathletic enough to trip himself before it's a touchdown. And that is Danny
Athletic
Dimes.
enough to break off an 80-yard run, unathletic enough to score on it.
Yeah, there it is. With nobody around.
Oh, my God.
Well, had it been Richardson, and again, remember, folks, I am a Florida Gator, okay? So when I talk badly about Richardson, it's because the kid just does not have enough time, okay? He had flashes at UF, and everybody pumped him. I'm not, hey, no sexual innuendo there, so don't even go there. I was not. I was actually
the pumps.
I was actually going real.
For that yet.
Oh, was it 3 pumps? The 3 pumps is a flag.
Yeah, well, no, it's 3 pumps in a dump, but that's otherwise than that. Okay, I'm just saying his college resume wasn't all that in a biscuit, and they ended up drafting him anyway. Okay, that's number one stupidity factor for the Colts. But if you are going to do that, then at least let him learn. And they didn't do that. If he was a guy that you needed to spend some time with, maybe get the ghost of Johnny Unitas in a ceremony with some lady and the crystal ball, and Johnny Unitas could teach him things. But you need something, okay? Hell, even you get Rex Grossman on the phone, for somebody that actually did something decent for the Colts. And by the way, he's another Gator who sucks. So you have that intangible Gator to Gator talk, okay? I'm just saying, do something, right? I'm sorry, Grossman was a Bear. I apologize. Anyway, the point is, because they lost to the Colts. That was the Colts connection. But just do something. Okay, and they didn't do it, so they screwed themselves that way. Daniel Jones is not a bad quarterback, and I think that he will show out this year. But that's the thing is, if they actually had something to put in front of them, and they had some decent players, yeah. But they're not quite a dumpster fire, but be on the lookout for guys with gasoline cans and stray matches throwing it in their direction. Just saying.
Okay. Well, I got a question real quick before we move on to the next team, though, too. Cap and Alex, do you think that them signing Daniel Jones was Steichen's way of trying to save his job?
Hell yeah.
I do. Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I think in turn also a way to hopefully motivate Richardson and pick him up, or see if that would change how he progresses, because he clearly hasn't progressed much in the 2 years he's been there. But yeah, I mean, once I saw they were bringing him in, what they paid him, like, I was like, he's going to start, and this is their way of saying, look, we're trying to improve the situation.
Okay. Is it maybe something similar to what they did to Bryce Young? How they benched him for Dalton for a little bit and then brought him back and it revitalized him?
Yes, exactly like that.
Okay.
Well, they better take the time to actually teach him things then, okay? I really think he needs training. He really does. He needs training.
I agree. He has all the tools. Outside of his health being a little bit of a question, he keeps getting banged up, but he definitely has all the tools. He has the arm, the athleticism, all the stuff is there. He just got to be able to, learn the game enough to be able to process it in a way that he can be successful, in my opinion.
Steichen has basically bought himself enough time to where if they are losing bad with Daniel Jones and they are forced to bring Richardson in, he has to play well, and they have to start winning games for Steichen to keep his job. If Jones plays good and they never move off from him, then he maybe buys himself another year and, can convince the ownership, hey, I got us, around 900 with Daniel Jones and a year of development under Richardson's belt. Let me see what we can do with him now after that.
Okay.
If Jones starts out bad and Richardson comes out bad, it's over. And Richardson, as terrible as it is, he's going to be probably thrown into that same Trey Lance boat, and that's going to be the highest upside. You get thrown into a bunch of systems, take, a bit of knowledge everywhere, and hopefully you land in a good organization with a great established franchise QB. You're able to back him up, get yourself some reps, and, show out in the preseason and hopefully, earn a backup spot. And maybe because Trey Lance is still 25 years old, we'll see what happens this year. I know that's insane to say, but we'll see what happens this year, and maybe you find yourself in a starting role. Like, it sucks that these project QBs and Lance was taken 3rd overall, Richardson was taken 4th overall. Like, it sucks that these big project QBs, and everybody knows it coming out of college, get given up on so fast, and there's nothing they can really do about it, and it's really unfortunate.
I got it. Well, that answers my question then, because I was quite curious about what was it going to take for Shane Steichen to keep his job, and I think RG hit it. I think that if no matter who's the quarterback, if they're not successful at least above 500, then I think Shane Steichen is in unemployment line in around Christmas, I guess you can say.
You're out of here!
Yeah. There you go.
I watched baseball, so it was apropos.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Coach Mike Dub, you're up on the clock, man. Tell me, I believe you got did you draw the Giants or the Bengals? Giants. So tell me about the Giants, and what do you think it's going to take for Brian Daboll with his 3 quarterbacks for him to keep his job in 2025?
I think what it took was kind of what they did in the offseason. Their defense is going to be really good.
It is.
I think that's going to bode well for them. I think they have a good roster. The one thing that works against them is they have a pretty tough schedule, especially starting out. I think they got the Chiefs, the Eagles twice, of course the Commanders. Division games is always tough. So
they have the hardest schedule, don't they?
Yeah, they have
their schedule is really difficult. I think it might be
I think it is the hardest.
It might be the hardest. So yeah, whoa. So that schedule is going to be tough. For that reason, I think that of course he has 2 veteran quarterbacks that's on the team. So I think that bodes well for them. Of course, Jackson Dart looked good. So I think the collection of both drafting Jackson Dart, who's turned out to to look good in the preseason, plus they have the veteran quarterbacks that can kind of take the brunt of those difficult teams first. You add that in there. The only other thing I would say that works against them is the fact that it's New York, so they're not patient. So, this is a team that could start out, 3-4 or something like that, and they're calling for his head when the team isn't playing that bad. So,
3-4 is great in New York with that team. I'm sorry, Coach.
Yeah. No, I mean, the thing is, New York media, depending on what their expectations are, they might tear them apart or anything. If you go 3-4 with that schedule, I think that's good. That's solid. So, I really think in order for him to keep his job, he just has to keep his head above water. Don't have any terrible performances, any complete meltdowns like we saw the Chicago coach last year at Thanksgiving and total mismanagement or anything like that. Don't blow this thing up completely. Keep it close, keep it competitive, and I think they'll give you another year because everybody can look at this roster and say, hey, they got something going here. They got some young stars on offense. They probably got their quarterback of the future, and they got a good defense. So just, as long as you don't have a complete meltdown, completely F everything up, where it's like, it's all they can talk about Monday morning, then I think he'll be okay. I think they'll give him another year.
Okay. So what is the success rate they got to have in order for him to keep his job?
I say 7 wins.
Yep.
I say
I'd say he already kept his job.
Oh,
That's just me.
I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad at it at all. I think 7 wins. If he goes under 7, they might have to, depends on the performances. Is it bad losses? Is it close? But I think 7 is good enough for them to say, okay, we're improving. We're heading in the right direction.
Just keep Jameis Winston away from the crab legs.
Jameis.
You're right.
But I will say, the best thing that they could have done is surround the rookie quarterback with 2 vets.
Yes.
You got Jameis, who's going to take the edge off. You got Russ, who's the professional. It's the best. It's a good situation. He's in the best situation out of all the young quarterbacks, I think.
For sure.
I like that. That's good.
Giants country. Let's ride.
You got Jackson Dart feeding W's to Jameis.
Oh my God! Hilarious.
I was not ready to do that, but you took it from me, so I'll give you a point for that, sir. I'll get my hand ready for you. Eating dubs.
The best will be if Russ has
waiting to happen. I'm telling you.
Oh yeah. The best will be if Russ has a bad game and he tries to, throw that out. Very, you remember in Denver when he had that bad game, he's walking away and he's like, Broncos country, let's ride. Hey guys, let's ride. Don't forget. No, but like I was saying, I think he already kept his job just by Jackson Dart looking good in the preseason, them crushing their draft. Unless it totally blows up and it's like, 2008 Lions, I think he's sticking around because they've clearly invested in the future. They think they got the guy to get him, the coach and the QB to get them where they want to be. I don't see them blowing that up unless it is a total S show.
Right. Okay.
No, 2008 Lions is only reserved for the Saints this year. That's the only team that's going to be able to hold a
They're going to
candle
take for Arch and celebrate, and then he's going to be like, I'm staying, guys.
Arch is probably staying,
It's going to be the first 0-17 season, and it's not even going to get you a quarterback.
Oh, no. We suck again.
Yeah.
Almost, Coach. I'll give you some effort. It's like, oh no, we suck again.
That's it. So it's going to be uphill climb, but I do think they're doing the right things. I think that Dayball can convince the front office that to give them one more year, especially with Jackson Dart playing well in the preseason. They're like, look, we're gonna see what we got with the veterans. Bring them along slow, and then towards the end of the season, we'll throw him out there for a couple of games, let him get his feet wet. And then, next season he should be ready to go full on. We got our franchise quarterback of the future. When they had one since Eli Manning, let's roll with it. And they at least get another year, being that he drafted Jackson Dart, especially by moving up in the first round to go get him after they drafted Abdul Carter. So I think they both got another year on his hands. But again, if it all falls off the rails and they go 0-8 in the first, 8 or 9 games, they might be done by Thanksgiving. Who knows? That schedule was brutal.
Yeah.
That first 4 games, I don't envy him at all.
Hey, they got a respite. They have the Raiders like around New Year's.
Well, no, they got the Saints week 5, so they got a W coming in week 5.
Yeah, you got to win those. Those are the ones you got to win.
Yeah, you got to win that game 40-0
If they lose to the Saints, that's grounds for firing immediately.
That'll get you fired.
That'll get you fired immediately.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get you fired before the clock hits 0.
Don't even get back on the plane.
Yeah.
Just stay here.
Ask if they need any help, Brian. You're just gonna stay here in New Orleans.
There you go. Okay. All right, so let's talk about the Dolphins real quick. We're going to talk about Mr. What do you call him? What did the Geek Squad employee? The
Geek Squad in Best Buy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Mike McDaniel and the Miami Dolphins. I'll take the lead on this one. I got some Dolphins fans on my Twitter feed that's constantly bantering me about how good the Dolphins are going to be this year when they're completely and totally looking through teal colored glasses. So
they got some good stuff that they're either smoking or injecting down in Miami. That's why they're saying that there, Coach. That's for sure.
Cap, I share that sentiment tenfold here because they're looking at a really bad way coming to them in 2025. It's gonna be a war to hurt. And I think that they have honestly and truly mismanaged the situation with the high power offense that they have. I think the thrill is gone. I think they've been figured out. I think they've been dissected enough where people can limit their ability to move the football. And on top of that, they've gotten really bad on defense, especially in the secondary. So they're going to be, in shootouts, number one. Two, we have questions about their heart and their character in regards to them playing in cold weather, which they're ultimately going to have to do because they play in the AFC East, not, warm weather areas like Vegas and LA and places like that where you can kind of get away with it. So that's an issue. Again, you're fighting uphill against the Bills. The Patriots have gotten better. The Jets are, changing the guard over there. So it's an uphill climb. And their biggest and most glaring problem I have is the fact that they did not address enough in regards to their O-line. I think the O-line got worse in offseason. They lost their stalwart left tackle. He retired on them. That was problem one. They didn't improve the other areas on O-line. I mean, let's be honest. Yeah, I understand that he's, a Shanahan disciple and things of that nature. But, dude, at some point you got to protect your quarterback who's not mobile, who has a limited, arm, capacity and things of that nature. He's an accurate quarterback. I'll give him credit for that. But if you don't protect him from himself because he is injury prone on top of all of that, you are doing yourself a disservice, and it's ultimately going to get you walked out the door, in my opinion. Because but without Tua being upright, they're dead in the water, and they're picking high to draft regardless. If he goes down to any stretch, and you didn't do it, all you could do to protect him in 2025, that's a complete and utter mismanagement. Now, he may feel like he thinks he can do what Shanahan does in San Fran, where he can just throw some ham and eggers out there on the O-line and it'll work. It doesn't always work that way, especially when you don't have a quarterback that has the toughness level of the quarterbacks you've had in the past. So, I mean, hell, even San Fran quarterbacks get hurt when they don't get protected. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance got hurt, Brock Purdy got hurt. I mean, it's a real thing, and your quarterback is the most brittle out of all of them. So, with that being said, the fact that they not addressed the O-line in a glaring fashion, and Tua's going to be under fire a lot, especially in this division with that pass rush. In the AFC period, where pass rush is myriad on every front, every corner you turn around, on every street, on every block you look at, there's a pass rusher looking at you like, hi, I'm going to sack you. So I think that you're doing yourself a complete and utter disservice. And I think they're going to be looking at things, they're going to be looking up at other people ascending above them in probably the first 4 to 5 games, in all honesty. Again, with the secondary being bad, the pass rush is probably the only thing you have to hang your hat on, but the interior D-line is weak, linebacker core is weak, the safeties are weak, the corners are weak. Your O-line is weak. Only thing you have is your running backs who are injury prone, and your wide receivers, which of one is in turmoil with the locker room because he basically told them that he wasn't coming back, and all of a sudden, when he didn't get traded, he decided to want to mend fences. So that's a internal fight that they got going on. So
plus he's going through a divorce. Remember that too.
He just got slapped with a huge judgment.
He did. So
reason before,
yeah. I don't think that they're going to
play for 10 more years.
He might need to just to pay off all that debt between the babies and the divorce settlement. So, yeah, I don't see where there's any room for the Miami Dolphins to be good in this particular outfit of 2025. And in all honesty, they might. I think 3rd or 4th in their division is probably the best they can hope for at this moment. Mm-hmm. So, that's just my in take on it. And I think that's where it ultimately lands. And again, the Bills and other teams are not going to do you any favors. And when it comes down to you playing them, so
Patriots got better this year.
They did.
All the teams got better. You could argue all of them in there.
And I would argue that they probably got worse.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they kind of sat on their hands. They tried to run it back.
I picked the Dolphins 5th in the AFC East.
Yeah, that's fair.
That is fair. That's a fair take. That is a fair take. So did anybody have anything to add? I don't think that outside of them making the playoffs and shocking the world, Mike McDaniel might be out on his ass. I'm just gonna be honest.
No, not in the AFC. The AFC is way too loaded for the Dolphins to even try to sneak in as the 7th seed. They're not even gonna make it out of their own division.
I'd argue McDaniel, out of the ones that we're talking about, is the most likely, if not already written in, to be out of the job by the time
mid-season.
It's in pencil.
I don't know about mid-season, but I don't think. I mean, I think the McDaniel experiment's over unless they just somehow drastically turn it around. But even with that, I mean, people figure out his offense. once you get into the nitty gritty of like the postseason or later, it's all timing based. And so it's like, if they can just throw two off of that, the whole thing's screwed. And on top of that, I mean, as coach was saying, like they didn't invest in their O-line, which is fine in that system, but it's only fine if everyone else is healthy, and they're not. So, they're going to have an undrafted free agent likely be their starting running back to start the season off. And then you got the conundrum with the wide receivers. Like, it's just, I think all the fixings are there for this to just be a straight dumpster fire.
Hey, Coach, I was going to say one thing as well. First off, you need a drop from a certain executive who's sitting in the White House. You fired. Yeah, okay, you get that one, and that's good for the season as well. But I will say this, and this is in all seriousness, and this actually goes to their quarterback. The last time that he was injured, he was there, and he was doing the what they call it, the
position.
Thank you for that. He was in the fencing position. I really, really think that he is one hit away. Maybe not just, and I'm not trying to do this for dramatic purposes, but he's one hit away from actually dying on the field. And I think that somebody really needs to take him aside and say, you got your marriage, you got your kids, you got your money that's set up. If he has any sort of injury this year that's not serious, the guy needs to just walk the F away. I'm serious.
I agree.
Yeah.
I said that last time when he got hurt. When that last injury happened, I said he really needs to consider retirement.
Oh, and when he came and when the whole media about like, well, what doctor said I'm fine. I'm like, I bet I just got the impression he probably went to like 6 different doctors until he got to the one that's like, yeah, I think you'd be okay. All right.
Yeah, Dr. Vinny Boom Bots. He went to Vinny Boom Bots. Rodney Dangerfield.
Went to America Samoa Medical School. Go Crabs or whatever.
I think, what was crazy is like he was like adamant against wearing the shield too, the helmet shield.
I know.
It's like all right, at this point, you're just being
if anyone needs it, it's you, dude.
Yeah,
it was made for you.
Do you want to be a drooling person at 40? Like, do you want to be that guy?
That was the thing. Like, it's I understand. Okay, you want to go away, whatever. But for you to just deny additional, like now you're just being stubborn.
They
Like,
really are.
Not
Like,
to be crude, but like I've seen that meme where people like reface Tua's face on Ace Ventura when he's like at the mental facility
oh my
pretending
God.
to be a QB,
Yeah,
and I'm like, man, that is gonna be Tua.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
yeah.
I mean,
I'm gonna complete a Buckingham pattern, super slow mo.
let's go back. It's super slow mo. He's at the hedges, and he's like under center.
Right. Blue 42, Blue 42,
Yeah.
over
Oh
six,
my
hunt,
God.
hunt.
It's
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
in Miami, dude. The 305 is on fire, not in a good way.
Indeed.
Race is out, Dan.
That's right. That's right. That is right. So yes,
Classic movie.
we're gonna pray for the Dolphins' future. That's all we could do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pray for Tua. I'm gonna pray for Tua.
Thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers. All right. So our final team on the list before we get to our hot take segment, because I'm really excited about that. Young RG, tell us about the Bengals and what are the Bengals' chances of Zach? Was it Zach Taylor and
Zach
somebody
Taylor.
making it out of 2025 with his job if they don't do things the right way?
So I'll say this. Zach Taylor is at least locked in for the entire season. Like,
Okay.
he will not get fired mid-season. However,
Why?
if you miss the play, because they are going to give him the 1 year with Trey Hendrickson back. They are going to give him the 1 year with T. Higgins on his renewed deal. Burrow's back. They're going to basically try to run it all back what they did last season. Even though last season, what you can consider was a mildly unsuccessful season. It's the fact that it was back-to-back seasons of playoffs missed with Joe Burrow as your QB. And if you were to do that for a third consecutive season with the league leader in sacks, with the Triple Crown winner at wide receiver, with just shy of 1,000-yard running back in Chase Brown, you are going to get fired. You cannot miss the playoffs 3 consecutive years with Joe Burrow as your QB first and foremost and expect to keep your job. I understand the division is tough. I understand that you don't necessarily have a defense, but that is also partially on you. The GM obviously has the majority of fault with it, but you are the head coach. You also carry burden on that. You decided to go this route of offense, firepower, and like we were talking about the Dolphins, they are going to be in a shootout every single game. The difference is, unlike the Dolphins, they actually have the offensive firepower to win shootouts and win them pretty consistently, I could argue. It's just a matter of, is the defense going to hold up? And we saw that the answer to that question all of last season, the answer was no. And at every point that the defense needed to make a stop, they were not able to. Similarly, and Burrow, he has caught some flack for this on some shows from what I've seen, but similarly, Joe Burrow did have chances and opportunities to win some of those games last season, and he did not come through for his team. I could point to the Ravens game. I can't remember which one it was, either their first or second matchup, of course, but had a chance to take the lead, driving down the field under the 2-minute warning, throws an interception. So, I mean, Chargers game, tied 30 apiece. The Chargers defense has collapsed. You've come back. Needing to lead a drive to take the lead, unable to do it. So there was opportunities and moments, and obviously don't even need to bring up week 1 last season against the Patriots. There was plenty of opportunity for the Bengals and for Joe Burrow to win games for his team, and he did not come through. Now, this is not to put blame on Burrow. The defense is largely at fault. However, if Burrow is to be considered a top 3 QB, and a lot of people have him right at that 4 range because obviously they have Lamar, Allen, flip-flop 2 or 3. Obviously, Mahomes is in first. But a lot of people have Burrow in that elite echelon of QBs. And if you're in that elite echelon of QBs, you are expected to win those games when the defense has done enough, in the sense that you're in the fourth quarter, tie game within 1 score, and you have a chance to either go down and take the lead or at least take the game into overtime. And Joe Burrow, unfortunately, did not do that at many opportunities last season. So Zach Taylor, your career potentially, or your head coaching career, rides on this season, and essentially needing to make the playoffs, and I would argue needing to win a playoff game.
What was the malfunction with the Chiefs last year? And again, I'm not just saying this to piss you off, Alex, but wasn't there a Bengals Chiefs moment of refereeism that worked in their favor, or was that 2 years ago?
No, I mean, there was a call, but the dude 100% slammed in the receiver before the ball was there. So, I mean, it happened at the end of the game, but it was a bona fide call. There was no there's no controversy about it. I mean, and that's not, I'm not even saying that as a Chiefs fan. I think of all the end of game situations that may have been a little murky, that was 100% the cleanest one.
The least murky. Okay, yeah. I will take your word for it. I just remembered that there was something, about that game. I couldn't remember what it was. I appreciate you. And again, I didn't throw it out there just to be an ass.
I didn't take it that way. Hey,
I was just remember. I will do. What was the guy's name that was that? I misremembered that.
Got it. Yeah. I share the sentiments about the Bengals, but personally, man, I think that this has got to work. I mean, you dealt all that money. You got to pay Trey Henderson some more money to keep him in house for a year. Teaming him up with Jamal Stewart, that was that whole mess that we covered in the past shows about that and how that ended. Yeah, got to get it done. I mean, regardless of the uphill climbers you have, because you have, probably one of the leakiest defenses in the league right now.
That's being generous.
You gotta get 30, 40, 50 points up a game and just hope for the best, right? But I would say this, so you saying a playoff berth and a victory in the playoffs?
You need a playoff win with Burrow as your QB. Yeah, I mean, Burrow has been to the Super Bowl already, so simply making the playoffs is not enough.
Yeah.
Like you need to win a game.
You can't have all that money in there, invest in the offense with an offensive-minded coach, and not at least make it or win one game, or get in the consideration.
I'll put this little pin
Caveat.
in it. Yeah, caveat. Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. I'll put this little caveat in it. If you somehow, if parity plagues the NFL this year, and somehow the Chiefs, the Bills, somebody like that is not, one of those top seeds, and you end up playing them round one, and it's a back and forth game, and maybe it's something like the defense loses it for whatever team you're playing, Bills, Ravens, Chiefs, they walk it off on you. Something like that, maybe you can argue, but even then, I still think Taylor gets fired.
I'd argue though they fired their DC, man. Like all the scapegoats are gone. So the buck stops with Taylor now. So
yeah.
Okay. Mike Dub, you got anything to add to this before we move on?
No, I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
Hey, maybe we can fake an injury.
And dude, I know this is a coach's segment, but I would echo what RG was saying in that at some point it's got to follow to Burrow's feet too. And I think even Brady said this recently, like, there's QBs. He was talking about Burrow without talking about Burrow, but Burrow's always all about his stats and what he does. And he's like, at some point you got to be like, well, what do I got to do to put the defense in a better position? Or what do I got to do to get us scoring rather than just throwing 4,500 yards and 50 touchdowns every year. And so,
this is very reminiscent of the Colts in the Peyton Manning's prime years when their defense was complete and utter garbage. But Peyton Manning was such a savant on offense that they won despite the defense being bad. So, they were one of those ball control offenses where they kept their offense on the field. The defense had limited snaps and they won games that way. I will argue they still needed a slightly better defense to finally win the Super Bowl, but no, it was quite a few years, 3 or 4 years in a row. I feel like that they were just terrible defensively, but they were so good on offense. They were just in ball games every week, and I think that's what the Bengals have to do as well.
But even then, why were they so good on offense and able to maintain that, the running game? Now that's something that the Bengals, if they're able to get that going this year, now you have something potentially going in the sense that, okay, even when we finally do get the lead, we have the offense still capable to run this clock down and not have to put our defense back on the field again.
That's a good one.
And I mean, those Colts too, they always lost to Brady in the AFC Championship game, right?
Yeah.
So
the Chargers were
one year.
There was a couple.
But my point is what I was saying is, even with that, they were in the playoffs every year. They were in consideration to be a Super Bowl team.
Winning
they say that about the Bengals now, but the last 2 years they haven't been in the playoffs. And I mean, even this last year, they needed Kansas City to beat Denver when they already had their spot locked up to even make it in. So,
the thing is with the Bengals, they're not even winning the division.
That part,
the Ravens are consistently winning this division.
We also argued that particular division in the South at that time when Peyton Manning was there was complete trash. Like
it was.
Trash. So
you had a brand new team with David Carr.
Right. It was in the AFC East when the Patriots were running. Everybody was trying to the Patriots. So it was like
Jacksonville with Byron Leftwich, Garrard,
exactly.
Mark Brunell, probably.
I don't even know who Tennessee had at QB.
Not quite Brunell, but Garrard and Leftwich. You are correct, sir.
Yes, indeed. Okay. All right. So let's wrap it up here. Let's talk about some hot takes. So we got some hot tamale, habanero type takes that we're going to give that's going to maybe, hopefully, and willfully play out in 2025. So we're going to go around the room and we're going to give our hottest takes that we think is going to come to fruition in 2025. So I'm going to start with Coach Mike Dub. Tell us, in so many words, what do you feel like is going to be a hot take that you really think is going to come to terms in 2025's NFL season?
For the first time in his history, Mike Tomlin will not be 500.
Ooh. Damn.
Coming out.
I love Mike Tomlin. I really do, but I just don't see it on that roster. I really don't.
And that's wild to say because Aaron Rodgers probably the best quarterback he's had in the past 6-7 years.
Just to show
what they got rid of Big Ben.
Right, yeah, exactly. So to have the best quarterback,
that's not saying much though.
Yeah, well, yeah,
it's not.
Yeah, it was a little rough.
Outside of DK, I don't love their receivers. Their receiving core. I don't love their running game. I mean, the defense is going to be the defense, but We're talking about, going against Baltimore. We're talking, twice. I just don't love it. I don't love what I'm seeing from him. And this is normally when they end up doing well as well. So maybe I'm wrong, but I'm going to go on record as saying that for the first time in his career, we see Mike Tomlin may have to hit the reset button.
Okay. Well, I think we had the reset button regardless because Aaron Rodgers on a 1-year deal and he's done after this. So that would be a good one. That's not far-fetched at all. That could definitely come to fruition, which is crazy to say that you got, again, the best quarterback you probably had in the past 8 to 10 years and you don't make the playoffs and you under 500 for the first time in his whole 10 year?
Yeah, his whole 10 year, which has been over 15 years.
I'm going to say this because it's a military term. Aaron Rodgers is a roadie. He's retired on active duty. I mean, that guy is given – he's going to go out there and just giving the minimal of the minimal of the minimal. He doesn't give a flying foxtrot, and that's going to be one of the reasons.
Give his ayahuasca or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, he wants to go to his little peyote cabin and go do that dark for 2 weeks. He's probably wanting to do that in like week 3. And great take, Mike. I agree with you. Tomlin ain't doing petiddly boo or
Yeah. There you go. Okay. Well, Cap, throw it over to you next. You got anything that's hot and bubbling in your brain that think is going to come to fruition in 2025?
I got to go last, Coach, because I know what I'm going to say, but it's not team related per se. I think you heard it in pregame. That's why it needs to go last.
Perfect. All right. We'll throw it over to AG. What you got over there? What's your hot take that's going to come to fruition in 2025?
Man, my hottest take: Chiefs win the Super Bowl undefeated. No, I'm kidding.
All right, guys, show's over.
Yeah, no. I had a few written down. I think my hottest take, and I was trying to confirm if this is accurate on the final game here. But my hot take for this season would be, damn, it's not. Okay, anyways, I think the Tennessee Titans are going to make some noise in a lackluster AFC South and be pushing for a playoff spot or to win the division.
Ooh.
And be like the Commanders of last year.
Cam Ward Rookie of the Year campaign?
Yep.
Okay.
When you said noise, I thought you meant like a loud 4 wins, but
oh yeah, bigger boom than that, Dub.
Okay, I like it. All right, Titans make noise, sniffing the playoffs. Okay, all right, cool. I'm good with it. Young RG, what you got over there in Spicy Take Land?
Oh, I was cooking. I was like Chef Ortiz. I was cooking in the lab with my take. So I went with something. I did a little bit of research, a little digging in, trying to see when's the last time something like this occurred. And as far as I could tell, after doing a little bit of research, the last time that 2 teams that missed the playoffs entirely and finished, goes hand in hand. 2 teams that finished last in their division the year prior, then to make the playoffs the following year. Last time it happened, funny enough, in 2011, Chargers and the Redskins, at the time the Redskins finished last in the NFC East with 5-11 record. San Diego Chargers at the time, finished last in the AFC West with a 7-9 record. Both teams made the playoffs the following season. Redskins actually won the division, so they went complete worst to first in one flip. Chargers did get in as a wild card at 9-7, so I'm going to go, with all that being said, I'm going to go with the Panthers and the Patriots to both make the playoffs this year. I think Bryce Young, I think Drake May, these are the 2 young QBs. I think they've done well. The teams have to put an offense around them. I think they're the NFC South is, a lot of people are really high on the Bucs. Personally, I think they're about an injury or 2 away on that offense from really getting hampered. I think the Panthers, I think they're ready to compete in that week of a division. Similarly over here to the Patriots, I think obviously the Bills are going to be pretty set. I don't think there's any confusion about that. However, Jets, Dolphins, I think Patriots are going to, in my opinion, sweep both of those teams. I think, they have a chance to really sneak into that 7th wild card spot in the AFC.
I like it. Yeah, I'm high on the Panthers. I think we talked about that as one of my sleeper teams. So I'm definitely looking forward to what they're going to do in the NFC South. And I think that the Atlanta Falcons took a hit by them losing their right tackle for the season, because that is Michael Penix's blind side.
Gary, yeah.
Yeah, you losing your blindside tackle is a big thing. So they're definitely right for the picking. And Tampa Bay, you know, with a new coordinator, we don't know. So yeah, I definitely like that take as well. So, all right, over to me because we're gonna let Captain Jack Rackham go last here. Mine is a little bit, I guess you can say, layered in a sense that I'm concerned about the NFC. I think that the NFC is going to turn on its head in a sense because I think that pass rush is an issue that nobody's really focusing on for the teams that are high up on people's radar. I think the Eagles have question marks by losing Sweat in free agency. I think they have question marks with their pass rush. I think the Lions losing both of their coordinators is an issue. I think the Commanders didn't do enough to address pass rush. I think Von Miller at 36 years old is going to be enough to address their pass rush issues. So I think that assuming that Matt Stafford is upright and his back is good for 18 weeks, that the Rams make the Super Bowl.
Ooh, damn!
And it's layered, and like I said, it's layered because I also believe that the Bills meet them in the Super Bowl and debunk the Mahomes curse, the Hard Knocks curse, and the MVP curse. Because typically, people that come off MVP don't do as well the following season. So I think Josh Allen builds on the MVP season and finally gets over the hump and makes it to the Super Bowl. And it's Rams Bills in the Super Bowl. That's my hot take.
Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah,
where does that put McVay in the conversation for, you know, I mean, if he makes a Super Bowl for what would that be his third?
I think his third.
His third, right?
Third. They won one. Yeah,
Three Super Bowls under 40.
Yep.
I don't even think he's 40 years old yet.
He might not be. Well, I think he might be now. I think he was 30.
He'll be able to coach in the league until he says he's done.
Pretty much.
I'm 40 plus 20. I'm a man.
Yeah,
that'll put him in an elite conversation if they're
It would, especially in this day and age, especially with his lineage being flourishing in the league as well, from your O'Connells and I think who's the other guy that's
Zach Taylor.
Zach Taylor and the kid LaFleur. So yeah, I definitely think that
potentially coach for 30 more years if he's on the Pete Carroll side.
I'm saying.
Imagine all those are for the Rams.
Right. Imagine that. So yeah, the Rams and Bills in the Super Bowl. That's my hot take.
All right.
Spice. I like the spice. Yeah.
I was going to say first, hey, Coach, by the way, I'm sorry. I know that you were probably wanting to, do the Costanza, the hot take, and leave, always leave on a high note. I apologize if I screwed that for you. I like that. And I think that it is set up for the Bills to win the AFC, because if you look at where their schedule is, they basically don't even leave the Eastern time zone, maybe but once this entire year. And all their hard games that they have, the hard games, they're all in Buffalo.
Yeah.
They're all in Buffalo. So I think that they're set up for that. And I just have to say, well, this is for everybody, because for those that were not here for pregame, and that's everybody that's listening to this broadcast that's not in this room right now.
There you go. Okay.
Here's my hot take. And this is not from the guy who's old enough to say, get off my lawn. No. I'm just saying, for all you people that do fantasy football, extremely just not even just one league. There are people that have like 5 effing leagues. I'm in 5 leagues. Oh my God, I'm in 5 leagues. Are you effing kidding me?
I think he's talking to you, Alex.
Do something.
I'm at 9 for the record, but
go outside. Read a book.
Oh, I can draft outside.
Your wife, Alex, because she's hot. Don't do it being 9 leagues. Okay? Go to the movies. Do something. Call your mother up if she's still alive.
Yeah, rude to draft in the movie theater.
It's funny though. I'm in 9 leagues, and everything you've said, I do on a daily basis.
I'm going to call your wife on that to see if that actually happens, and I'll probably hear otherwise. I'm tired, honey. I had a bad day at court today. Whatever. Do something. Do not let your life be involved with fantasy. I mean, okay, maybe one. But my fantasy team is the Las Vegas Raiders. I don't like to have people that I have to root for. Why
Definitely
need
a
this
fantasy.
guy to get 300? That is a fantasy, by the way. Okay.
That was a good one.
I don't need this guy to have 300 yards, right? And this guy, they're playing my team, but I want him to have a good game, but they need to lose because they're playing my team. Just drop it, man. Go do something constructive. And that is from the old man. I used to play fantasy until it took up too much time. Read a book. Go outside.
You need to tell people to touch grass, Cap.
Make love to your wife, okay? Get away from it, okay? We got it. It's good. Take my word for it.
Everybody on this broadcast outside the Capture Field attack because we're all in multiple leagues. Together.
Yeah.
But don't miss the shows when they talk about your fantasy picks here on this channel.
Yeah.
That's right. That's
I
right.
may not have a whole podcast dedicated to fantasy, but hey, whatever.
We just might have a whole podcast dedicated to fantasy. Yes, indeed.
I didn't forget, but do something else, man. God damn. Jeez.
Like she said, we're multitaskers.
Yeah, that's what she said. And she said you weren't doing it good enough. I'm just saying.
That was a good devil she said, by the way. That was good stuff. That's good stuff. All right. So we got the Bills and the Rams meeting the Super Bowl. If I have this right, the Titans make noise and fight for a playoff team spot, and the Steelers go under 500, and the Patriots and the Panthers both make the playoffs. And Cap says, get off his lawn.
Cap says, touch grass.
Fantasy drafts.
Stop playing fantasy.
Go touch grass. Go read a book. Go touch a woman.
That's right. I've touched a woman. It's good.
He also said to take your money and go to Thailand or earlier. There's an overarching theme here, Cap. I'm just
saying, there are things you can do.
All right. Indeed. Well, gentlemen, we have done it, man. It is in the books. The off-season blitz is a wrap. The season finale is done. We will be back next week to start our live coverage for the NFL season. We are 1 week and 2 days away from the NFL season kicking off, man, and I cannot wait for it. We're kicking off with Cowboys and Giants? No.
Eagles
and Cowboys, yes. Eagles and Cowboys. So we got that Thursday night, the Chargers and Chiefs on Friday, and a slew of games on Sunday. So we will be dropping our coverage on Tuesday nights, each and every Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our live show for the regular season. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the podcast and let everybody know we're doing big things out there on YouTube as we grow the channel to high heights and deeper depths. I want to thank all my co-hosts, the Hit Squad, Captain Jack Rackham, Young RG, Robert Garcia, Coach Mike Dub in the building, Young, Real H. Dallas Givens, and the Salty Pirate as always, man. We'll be back next week to drop more hot takes and NFL content for you, man. But in the meantime, between time, we will see you next week. As always, you got to remember to step up and lock it down.